Hey guys, it's Rei Rei. I hope you're well today. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it if you did that. Today's video, we're going to be discussing the Mandela Effect and why the awareness of this phenomenon has become more prominent in recent years, collectively speaking. So what is the Mandela Effect? The awareness of this phenomenon actually became collectively known because I'm sure many individuals experienced it already, but they didn't really know what it was. But collectively, when Nelson Mandela was actually in prison in South Africa, a lot of people believed and thought that he died in prison, but he was actually obviously released from prison, and was still alive. I'm not sure when he actually passed away or if he's even dead or not, to be honest. But anyway, a lot of people had the memory of him passing away in prison and seeing the news and everything with, Nelson Mandela dead, etc. But there's also a percentage of the population that don't have that memory between their ears. So there's a kind of, collective misalignment there between two sets of people. I mean, I could understand if it was like just a couple of hundred people who'd experienced that, but we're talking about thousands, if not millions of people who experienced having that same memory that is apparently wrong between their ears. What's actually happening there? And is their memory actually wrong? Maybe not. What if, and this is just my theory, what if the Mandela effect is actual proof that parallel realities exist? What if a percentage of the population have shifted their consciousness to another timeline whereby the memory and the event of Nelson Mandela's passing is no longer a reality, yet they still have the memories of the previous timeline between their ears? Because even when you as an individual shift to a new timeline, you still have, for the most part, a lot of the memories from previous timelines between your ears, because the brain, is for the most part a record of the past. So I do believe that's actually what is happening there. A lot of people do have memories that simply seem to be wrong in this particular timeline, but it's also proof that the past is equally as malleable as the future is. Because if you make changes within your consciousness and your perception as a whole, then you not only alter your destiny, you not only alter your potential future, you also alter the past too. And I've seen this happen in my own experience and my own life as well. Even just little things like Pikachu's tail, for example, in this timeline right now that I'm experiencing, it's completely yellow. But in the previous timeline, it was yellow and black. It had a black line at the end of it. I used to watch Pokemon when I was a kid, getting dressed for school. That's when it really, in the West, come out around in the 90s, mid-90s. And I used to love them. I used to have the Pokemon cards, everything, and Pikachu definitely had a black and yellow tail. There were so many other examples, such as when, Darth Vader is speaking to Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. A lot of people remember him saying, "Luke, I am your father," but he actually doesn't say that apparently, even though I also remember him saying that. It's kind of weird. So what I'm proposing here is maybe nobody's memories are actually wrong. Maybe it's just that they're not aware of the fact that they've altered or shifted to a different timeline. Now, some people are becoming more aware, more conscious of the fact of parallel realities and the fact that we are constantly shifting timelines, and that's just a natural side effect of expanding your consciousness. You become more aware of synchronicity. You become more aware of those little glitches in the matrix, those little glitches in reality that seem to not make sense, but maybe they do when you look at reality in this way. Maybe it's just proof that you've shifted to a new timeline. And, and we're constantly shifting timelines as well. That's another thing people don't know. Bashar, who's someone I look up to, says that we actually shift through billions of realities per second. billions of realities per second. So it's not as if there are just two timelines, and that we fluctuate from. There are actually billions of them. And as a result of our state of being and our choices and our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our activity, etc., we are constantly fluctuating through different timelines all the time, pun intended, like quite literally. And I think the Mandela Effect then is just proof of that. It really is proof of the fact that we're constantly shifting to different realities, and that the past then must be different in each reality. If our potential future is different in one reality, then our past must also be slightly different. Those changes could even be minuscule, as such as a Pikachu having a different colored tail, for example, but it's still a difference. It is still a difference. There was actually an experiment done, a scientific experiment done on memory, because a lot of people, claim to have wrong memories, and nobody knows why. And the scientists concluded, that their test subjects' memories can be up to 50% incorrect. Apparently, they come to the conclusion that people just make shit up to try and perpetuate their past. But what if that's not even true? What if they simply have the memories from a previous timeline between their ears, and they're not consciously aware of the fact that they're on a new timeline? So the experiments, the scientists and all of the other people in their reality may have the memories of a new timeline between their ears, but maybe they don't, and that could also be why people's memories seem to be, wrong at times. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I think it's definitely connected. I think we're definitely seeing more and more awareness grow in the collective, but also in the individual. The more you expand your consciousness and realizing the more that, you do perceive those little glitches in reality, things don't really make sense. One example from my experience recently is that, Bashar again, his seminar, You Are All Time Travelers, for example, that's my favorite seminar because I'm just obsessed with time travel, if you haven't noticed already. But I remember when that came out, that particular show came out, because it came out on my birthday, November the 3rd, right? But I looked back like a week ago, I looked to see what date it actually come out. And it said something like March or April. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but like it was a different date. But I remember specifically feeling as if that was a synchronistic kind of gift from Bashar and his people doing that on my birthday for me, because that's like, I've watched that so many times. I love it. And I do believe that I have slightly altered my past again as a result of shifting to a new timeline. And that's why the date on that particular seminar is a little different now. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's a really interesting subject. Down below in the comments, if you've had any experiences, like I have, if you're seeing any of those little glitches in the matrix, you're seeing any of those little oddities that just don't make sense, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear some of your stories and experiences with the Mandela Effect. I think collectively, we are awakening. We are becoming more and more aware of these things. Synchronicity is proof that all things are connected by a higher form of intelligence. The word Chronos is in synchronicity, the word. And Chronos is obviously not geek, Greek god of time. So Jung defined synchronicity as a coincidence in time. But there are no coincidences and there is no time. All things are really linked together. Something that happened to you 10 years ago may be connected to an event that you have tomorrow, for example. All things are interconnected beyond the scope and perception of linear space and time. And again, the Mandela Effect is also proof that parallel realities indeed do exist, and that we're constantly fluctuating and shifting between different realities as a result of our state of being. So, there's going to be some more of these things that come into the limelight as we continue to raise the frequency of our collective consciousness, because these phenomena have always been there. They've always been there. It's just that we're becoming more consciously aware of them collectively. individually, some people may be more aware of these things than other people, but on a general collective level, we're becoming more sensitive and aware to these realities. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing this video. Please hit that like button. And again, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel and come on this journey with me. I'm going to be making lots of videos like this, you know, because I feel like one of my purposes in life is to help peel that linear space-time illusion from your perception. Because I've had experiences which have done that to me, and I really see things. I do see things from a linear standpoint at times because we need to, because we're living in a linear, time-bound physical reality. However, I also have the perception now of a non-linear point of view. And if you have a foot in each world, I do believe that you have the keys to self-mastery in the physical domain. Thanks for watching. See you soon.